This has to be the best track on the soundtrack because it's my favorite and I'm objectively right about everything. Everyone's always singing the praises of At Doom's Gate, but this right here is the perfect song for playing Doom, for driving, for working out, for filing taxes. I Saw the Demons by Bobby Prince makes every activity better. Alright, now let's actually talk about this level. The Shores of Hell has its own aesthetic of science-y space labs being corrupted by demonic forces. So much so that people who make their own Doom maps and have like this kind of aesthetic, they're often referred to as the Shores of Hell levels.
The moment you start the level, there's a bunch of zombie men and you only have your pistol to fight them off if you're playing on ultra violence or higher. They're not shotgunners, but they're still annoying.
The Shores of Hell is a lot harder than Knee Deep in the Dead because every level starts off with just throwing waves and waves of monsters at you. This level is the first appearance of the funny demon themselves, Cacodemons.
These tomatoes can fly, but they really just like to block your path.
And because of that infinitely tall aspect I talked about in the last episode, you can't even walk under them, so good luck trying to get around these guys. A lot of people call Cacodemons just flying imps, which I think is unfair to say, because they're a lot beefier and they have their own stats. I called Barons in the last episode more tanky imps, which everyone says, but again, they have their own unique properties. Now with all these monsters you're gonna face, you're gonna need some more firepower. Thankfully we got the plasma rifle, by far my favorite weapon. Using cells as ammo, the plasma rifle isn't a hit scan weapon, but rather a projectile throwing force to be reckoned with. And I just mean listen to that sound. It's like shooting my brain with dopamine for every bolt it fires. Make sure to use the plasma rifle in the right situations because plasma ammo can be hard to come by. Luckily, however, in the Shores of Hell, you can find a plasma rifle in every map except for the last one. This track again gives off like a spooky vibe with words of an alien invasion, while the drums keep that metal tone of the game.
The name of the track, The Demons from Adrian's Pen, is a reference to Adrian Carmack, who did all the art for the game, and I just love what this guy does. Just this picture of him drawing and sculpting all the models is super inspiring.
He did the art for Wolfenstein as well, and I love these sketches, man. Something about them, I don't know what it is. Maybe seeing the demons' high definition depiction, their incredible detail, like this Baron image, which is also used for this wall texture. The way it's posed in its fireball throwing position, just the artistic rendering, making it pop out, it's so good. Adrian Carmack, please make an art book. I will buy the hell out of it.
That chicken.
Containment Area is one of my favorite maps because of the memories I have with it. Like I talked about in the last episode, I got the game and just instantly fell in love. I remember because school shutting down during COVID, I was helping my dad work, and I just remember coming home and running to my room to play it on my Switch, and this is the level I was on. This Warehouse Mazes box is just so nostalgic for me, even if it was only a couple of years ago. Since I'm playing the Steam release source port, all the health packs have a green cross instead of the red. This is because the Red Cross Association doesn't want the Red Cross in video games because they believe it undermines the principle of the symbol, which... okay. In the Doom 3 BFG edition releases of the classic Doom games, these are instead changed to pills, which just seems even weirder. There's a lot of debate on this topic. In my opinion, is the Red Cross should just be a symbol of health and safety. But I kind of grown on the Green Cross, but the reason I bring all this up is you see this health pack? Why is it black instead of white?
Because it's a berserk pack!
Out of ammo? Who cares? Because you have a 10 times more powerful punch now. So much so that zombies and imps don't stand a chance against a single punch.
And I mean, it'll also cap out your health, but that's not as cool as what else it does. The red tint's not gonna last forever, but you're still gonna have your strength so you can keep punching.
Make sure to use it wisely because you only have 122,713,351 seconds to use that strength, or 1,420 days and 7 hours, so get to it. I don't know if this is a coding oversight, but the game's manual says it's time-based, but it's just really not. You have the strength until you either end the level or die, so... But don't worry, this level's full of imps to take your anger out on. Now again, in the Shores of Hell, you got that like corrupted aesthetic with like this warehouse for the UAC being taken over by hell. Because you go into this room and it's like this temple and it's just, oh, I love it. I don't know what it is, just the aesthetic of Doom. Again, I've nerded out about it so much and I'm not gonna stop, and oh, I love it. Just like this room just, oh, it's perfect. When you go into this section with the crushers, they're not really hard to avoid. Crushers in Doom are really easy to avoid, except for in... Oh, we'll get to Doom 64 eventually.
Okay, Lost Souls. These guys are kind of annoying. I mean, they forget where you're at after they charge at you, so they're pretty dumb. They don't pose a threat like at all. I mean, I don't see how they could in any way.
This track is just intermission from Doom, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's an absolute banger. Again, the aesthetic of this episode just, oh, it's so good. Like, look at those vines and roots, just, hell yeah! Doors have skulls on them. What? The UAC base is being corrupted by the demonic presence? Huh? Oh, and if that's not enough to convince you, there's just this room of flesh. This track's intro just feels like, I don't know, like you're sneaking around. It reminds me too much of... That's at least for the intro. As you go on, you start hearing this opera music, and it's just, oh, the atmosphere, man. The track's name makes sense with all the demons around every corner. For some reason, the crusher in this room will sometimes rise up, but goes down most of the times, and I can't figure out why, though. The most memorable part about this level is the Baron fight, because, oh yeah, they're common enemies now, they're not just bosses. But opening the door to see the Baron and hear its roar just always catches you off guard. After defeating the Baron, you can get the blue key card to go to this section to see more. Crushers. A lot more crushers. I fell into this little nook and cranny and I thought I would just soft lock the game. There's actually a secret behind this wall with a plasma rifle, and there's also this teleporter that takes you behind a cacodemon in this pinky, which is very useful because getting to this point going the normal way is such a ball buster. This section is brutal and it's where I took my first death, and my second, and my third, and my fourth, and my eighth. After dying so many times while I was recording this, I got so frustrated I ran through the level and skipped all the monsters. I did the same thing with the next level, but I just felt so guilty, so I had to go back and re-record it. This time going for 100% kills and 100% secrets, and you need these secrets to keep you alive. Getting as many secrets as I did, let that be the only death in this run, which usually I have a lot more deaths for each level. This map is also another one of those ones I just really like to look at. You have this room, which is blue. And then you go into this one, which is... Open this door and you're immediately greeted with tons of demons. You better start attacking because this level is just not going to wait for you. Unless you just stay in this room. Again, I replayed this level because I felt guilty, so I went back for 100% kills and somebody turned on that Megalovania because we're going for a genocide route! Now the environment of this level is just so well done and textured, a lot of gore to go with the atmosphere of the level. Doom levels aren't really designed to look like anything, they mostly just focus on the level design and the flow of it, and then the looks are just an afterthought. But again, I just have to nerd out about this art because these wires going into this flesh is just, oh, it's reminiscent of H.R. Geiger, who, if you didn't know, did the art for Alien and designed the Xenomorph. He also has a lot of art that just, oh, it's so detailed and gross, but I love it. His aesthetic is like biomechanical, so it looks like flesh mixed with wires and pipes. But Doom's aesthetic looks very similar, if not inspired by his work. After hordes and hordes of monsters, the fight with these two Barons of Hell, the secret room full of lost souls that nearly killed me, you find the secret exit to E2M9, and yes, I'm actually gonna play the secret level this time and not cop out like I did with Military Base in the last episode. As soon as the level starts, you're met with an ear-piercing. But other than that, this level's really easy. In Masters of Doom, a book about the game's development, Sandy Peterson, who's credited as designing all these levels but were actually started by Tom Hall before he left, made this level entirely on his own. And if my sources are right, He says this is the level he's most proud of, which... What? He says you have to rely on the monster infighting, which I didn't at all. Some say you have to pistol start this level to really experience how it is, so... I mean, it's harder. This track takes what E1M8 Signs of Evil did and cranks that eerie feeling up to 11. This map is ready to rock your world with the amount of enemies you have to deal with. There's this dark section which was really hard for me when I played on my Switch, but for some reason on my PC it's not really dark at all. I even turned the brightness all the way down and I still could see most things. Maybe it's the renderer, OpenGL, I'm no expert in any of that. This level is so full of monster closets, and on top of that you keep hearing doors open and close so you never know what you just triggered. I think I found a glitch with this port because when I walk into this sector I bounce back. These pinkies also spawned on top of each other, which made the Baron behind him unable to do anything. I always play with the Bethesda/Steam port, and I used it in my last episode, so I just want to use it here for consistency. But this port has a lot of issues, like randomly teleporting you, there's this texture error, some item textures glitch through the wall. GZ Doom is very customizable, but it looks just so smooth. And I like playing the game as classic as it can be because I want to feel like a 90s kid. There are tons and tons of Doom source ports. Source ports are just recreations of the game that use the source code, which was given to the public by id Software after a bunch of copyright stuff. Each one of these ports have their own inconsistencies and bugs and unique features, some add to the engine. But if you really want a 100% classic 90s Doom experience, you have to have DOS on a computer or a DOS emulator. There's an option to play on a DOS emulator on the Steam port, but for some reason the mouse has vertical movement, and I just can't stand that. I get very indecisive about what I should use. Should I use the Steam port because it's the official and morally right way to play? But Bethesda is such an awful company, and GZ Doom looks like Gmod to me, but this is what Sandy should really be proud of. This level has a fake exit that just drops you down into an ambush full of monsters. This makes you have to backtrack with low health to find the real one. Also, the demon's little voice gives off this triumphant, adventurous vibe. This level's looks, again, I just absolutely love. The UAC logos on all these columns. In these silver rooms, I don't know why, but they give off this vibe like Space Mountain from Disneyland. So much so to where the last time I was there, I was waiting in line and I was just like, I'm in that one Doom level. Frickin' nerd. I don't know if it's the port I'm using, but this teleporter with these pinkies just happens really fast, and I think they're supposed to come flooding through, but they don't. There's also this shotgunner room that just is kind of there. I can't explain it, but this track gives off this evil medieval jester supervillain feel. It also has a banger drum solo to keep that metal tone. You see these barons hung up on the wall. Now just imagine you're a kid in the 90s and you see these barons, the super tough enemy from the last episode, hung up on a wall. The only thing you're thinking is whatever did this is gonna kick your ass. Walk out into this room and what do you see? A bunch of lost souls, but get past that. That H.R. Geiger biomechanical aesthetic mixed with the demonic Lovecraftian vibes of Doom. Oh, I love his design. Supposed to rocket duel this giant, but he has to have a direct hit because he's immune to all splash damage. But I have a ton of sail ammo, so...
You've done it. The hideous cyber demon lord that ruled the lost Deimos moonbase has been slain, and you are triumphant. But, where are you? You clamber to the edge of the moon, and look down to see the awful truth. Deimos floats above hell itself. You've never heard of anyone escaping from hell, but you'll make those bastards sorry that they ever heard of you. Quickly, you rappel down to the surface of hell. Now it's on to the final chapter of Doom. Inferno. Hey, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. It's been a year since the last video. Well, 10 months, but whatever. Life is crazy, so I haven't really had a chance to work on this too much. Again, I said it in my update video, but I'm almost at 200 subscribers. Thank you so much. And I know that's not too much, but just imagining 200 people watching me talk about Doom, nerding out, because that's exactly what this video is insane. And I can barely imagine it. Also, thank you everyone who commented on my last video. I remember back in December, I was going to Six Flags, and I drove 2 hours there with some friends, and like all the rides were closed, and the day sucked. But I remember waiting in line to get into the park. I got a notification from Nathan Like Salad, and he was like, "Hey, what animation software do you use?" And I don't know why, but that just made my day. Like, someone asking me what I use, I was just like, I use Adobe Animate, but it's what I know how to use. And so Nathan, you made my day. Thank you so much. If you want more content from me that doesn't take a year, which I hope the next video won't take a year, you could go over to Epic Style, which is me, my friend Aiden, Jose, and Bowties, twitch.tv/Bowties. We just do like a podcast let's play. It's a ripoff of Game Grumps, Only Plays, all that. That's all it is. But we upload every week. Well, we try to. I've been slacking on editing, but that's besides the point. Also too, this video took a while because I re-recorded some lines because I'm very passionate about this and I don't want to sound too nerdy, but like when I'm on Epic Style, I have this monotone voice, but then when I'm on here, I'm like, I love Doom! But I mean, it's just me nerding out, so I guess that makes sense. I will try for the next video to come out sooner. I kind of want to branch out to other games, but part 3 is still coming, don't worry. Thank you all so much. My friend Aiden says hi, and peace out.